Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, or whatever the case may be. My name is Marcus, and I am the host of the Black Brazil Today YouTube channel, as well as the blackbraziltoday.com blog, where I analyze Brazil from the perspective of race. So today I'm doing a reaction to a video I came across probably about a week ago, and I think it just exemplified, a topic that I talk about from time to time. It's just something that, people have to understand. This is not just something that happens in the United States. Wherever there's African descendants living under a system that's not run by African descendants, you're going to have these problems pop up, whether you're in the US, Brazil. I've heard these problems in Dominican Republic, Venezuela, wherever there's Black people living under a regime where their physical aesthetic is not considered the standard. So today I want to react to a video that I came across by this Brazilian YouTuber. And the video that I'm reacting to, I'm calling it "Go Cut That Disgusting Hair. The worst things I've ever heard because of having kinky curly hair." So this guy is just talking about his experiences. Just think about some of the things that he says, what he's come across, some of the things that people have, the nerve to say to you about your hair. I've run into people who, I'll think twice and I'll look at a particular hairstyle that they may wear. You see a lot of people these days with pink hair and aqua blue hair and green hair and all of this. And people are free to wear whatever they want to wear. Obviously, I've never been a person to even look at somebody and say, okay, I don't necessarily like that hairstyle, but I'm never going to walk up to somebody and just freely say, hey, look, that's hideous. Why don't you change your hairstyle? It's really, in some ways, it's none of my business. I keep my opinion to myself. So then, how would you feel if somebody just walked up to you and said something that, an opinion that you didn't ask for? Now, if somebody asked my opinion, that's another thing. But for somebody to just walk up to you and say something out of pocket about something, your hair specifically, whatever you might be doing, I just think it's kind of rude. If somebody's opinion wasn't asked, why provide that opinion? So anyway, before I even get into this video, make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell. So let me just get directly into the video and do my own analysis on what's going on here. So this is a young man whose video I'm going to be reacting to. So before I start talking about his video, I want to just remind viewers that Brazil has always been under European standard of beauty. So if you don't have straight hair, women are expected to straighten their hair. They're not expected to walk around with, what they call cabello crespo, natural kinky curly hair that, is generally a sign of African ancestry. For years, Black Brazilians have done a number of things to try to, conform to what is considered quote unquote respectable for somebody's hair in Brazil. People have used chemicals. They use what's called a chapinha. It's like a flat, straightening iron that people put in their hair. People have used what they call mega hair, which are basically extensions. And then men have resorted to using what they call máquina zero. Máquina zero is like, it's not shaving your head to the scalp. It's just máquina zero as is like it is, bald. It's the bald look. Then you have certain levels of máquina zero. Which it's just the lowest you can get on your getting a haircut with the clippers. Some people will take it down almost to the skin, just use like, I don't know what you call like a shadow look. It's only been in recent years that Black Brazilian men have started to let their hair grow out, because for years they were made to feel ashamed of their hair. I've seen situations where there was a situation some years ago that it was appalling to me, because this young man was walking, I don't know where he was going, but he had his hair, he had a big afro. Not only were the police harassing him as if he was some, criminal, but then they insulted him like, you need to cut that, that hair off. That hair is ugly. It was part of the reason that the cop actually assaulted the kid. Now he's like afraid to walk the streets. It took this long for Black Brazilians to come into having a certain pride about what their hair looks like, even just to grow it out in its natural texture. A lot of Black Brazilian men talk about not even knowing what their hair texture look like. They've been so accustomed to shaving their hair so low. And when they get to having this kind of pride about having kinky curly hair or an afro, you have like repressive organizations, organs, state apparatus that wants to still repress them. Like, how dare you walk around the streets with with an afro? Okay. We're not, racist jokes, representations of what they call cabello huim, which means bad hair, cabello doodle, which means hard hair. And people have to deal with these racist comments all the time. It's just like people just have, the gall, the audacity to just walk up to somebody and just insult them because of their hair. And this is what makes people develop a shame towards their hair texture. As I've said, in the years that I lived in Sao Paulo, I saw this enormous change where in my first decade of having this connection with Brazil, you just didn't see many Black people wearing their hair out in a natural, Afro type look. It's pretty common today, but it took years for Black Brazilians to be able to confront this repression that they always felt about how Brazilian society rejects their hair texture. Okay. So with that said, let's get into what the video is talking about, because what this guy is doing is breaking down some of the worst things he's ever heard because of just having kinky curly hair. So I'm going to just overdub what he had to say, and want to know what you have to say after I get finished overdubbing the video. So let's get into it. Attention, this video is a rant. These stories told here are examples I've been through that I hope no one else goes through again. Hi, I know you don't know. I know I don't know you, but could I run my hand through your hair? Oh, why? Oh, it's so different. It looks. Oh, I don't know. Can I touch it? If you're Black, you probably understand what I'm talking about. If you're not, you'll think it doesn't even happen in real life. But the truth is, in the middle of 2018, it's not over. People with kinky curly hair go through embarrassing situations every day. If you don't believe me, I'll tell you some of them here. How do you wash it? Oh, it must be very difficult to comb, right? Look, I think it's very beautiful, but I wouldn't have the courage to wear that. Have you ever tried straightening it? Maybe it'll work. I understand. This is a young person's thing. It's just a phase. Then you'll get over it. Those are some of the nice approaches. Because yes, it can get a lot worse. I'm going to cut your hair. When you're asleep at home, I'm going to cut your hair. Look, the day you're going to get your hair cut, call me and I'll give you the first cut. I'll be there. See? I don't know how your father hasn't cut your hair yet. If it were my son, I wouldn't let it happen. These situations have happened to people who aren't that close to me. Their parents are friends, they're neighbors, they're people I know, but who at no time would have the intimacy to say this kind of thing to me. But it can get worse. Go cut that disgusting hair. If you think that we only hear this kind of comment from family or acquaintances, the hole goes deeper. Several times I've been at the bus stop and people have passed by in cars, on mopeds, bicycles, walking, and insulted me. It took me a long time to accept my hair. It took me a long time to understand that there was nothing wrong with me. Even after I understood that, this daily violence hurts a lot. A lot, really. A lot more than I demonstrate here. Because in life, they teach you that you have to be strong, that you have to listen to this kind of thing. Keep your head up and ignore it. But do you really have to put up with this? You who have straight hair. Has anyone ever stopped you in the street to pull your hair and tell you that your hair was wrong? Has anyone ever commented on your social network that it was time for a haircut, that it was too ugly? Honestly, I don't think so. A lot of people think that the barber has a family. It's just a joke. I'll give you another name. Racism. You might be thinking, Aide, but it's because your hair is big. It's because your hair is different. It's because your hair attracts a lot of attention. And that's why people feel free to speak, to make comments, to make jokes. Guys, I've never done anything to my hair. It was born this way. My hair is
Meu
part of my
cabelo faz
identity.
parte da minha identidade.
My hair
Meu
is part of
cabelo
who I
faz
am.
parte do que eu sou.
My hair
Meu
is a big
cabelo
part of
é
my
grande
self-esteem.
parte da minha autoestima.
My
Meu
hair is a lot
cabelo
of
é
things.
muita coisa.
But one thing
Mas
my
uma
hair
coisa que meu
isn't
cabelo não é,
is a
é
joke.
piada. Eu
I
espero
hope
que
that in
daqui
a
a
few
alguns
years'
anos
time, I'll
eu
look at
olhe
this
pra esse
video and
vídeo e
think,
pense, caramba, eu não acredito que eu
man, I can't
passava
believe
por
I
esse tipo
went
de
through this
coisa.
kind of thing.
Porque a
Because
sociedade
society
vai,
will
topicamente,
topically
vai mudar
change completely
completamente
and
e
no one
ninguém
would
nunca
ever
mais vai
have
ter
to
que
go through
passar por
this
isso.
again.
Se você
If you've
nunca
never been
passou
through
por
this,
isso
and you
e
probably won't,
provavelmente não vai passar,
respect it.
respeita.
If
Se
you ever
você
been
já
in a
passou por
similar
situações
situation, let me
parecidas
know
com
in
as
the
que eu passei,
comments.
me conta aí nos comentários.
What I think
O
we
que eu
can
acho que a
do is
gente
help
pode
each other
fazer é ajudar um ao outro,
so that
para que
in the
no
very
futuro
near
bem
future, I hope
próximo, eu
this kind of
espero,
situation
esse tipo de
never
situação
happens
nunca mais
again.
aconteça.
Okay, so you heard what this young man had to say. It's crazy. I mean, it's in some ways it's unbelievable. I mean, Brazilians always talk about how now United States is the most racist country in the world. But I'm saying I've never in my life had anybody I didn't know come up to me and say something wild about my hair. And believe me, I've worn all type of hairstyles, right? I never had anybody had the audacity to just walk up to me and say something like that, right? So anyway, um, I wanted to give a little bit more context to what this guy is talking about because, as I said, it's taken a lot of courage for Black Brazilians to wear their hair out and in the texture that they were naturally born with, right? So just to give you a little bit more context on this thing about hair, back in 2015, a group of Black students from the University of Brasilia, which is in the nation's capital, they saw a campaign that was initiated by a group of Black students at Harvard University with a photo campaign about the things that they've heard, the racist comments that people have made. And so they kind of copied what the students at Harvard had gone through. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about that. These are just signs that they made, the sign reproducing a phrase that they had heard from somebody in respect to their hair. So you see in these pictures here, these signs that people have. The second sign says, what do you do to get your hair like that? Can I touch it? Another person says, do you wash your hair? Okay. We go on. What do you do to wash this hair? Is what this sign, como você faz para lavar esse cabelo? And you keep going. Why don't you comb your hair? Por que você não penteia o cabelo? Penteia the hair. Let me see. What other comments do we have here? These are just some other signs. They always associate what they call Black Power hair, and Brazilians call Black Power. That means just an afro because they associate the afro with the era of the Black Power movement in the 1970s in the United States. They always associate afros or Black Power or cabello Black Power. They call it. They associate it with poor hygiene, carelessness, not even seeking to know how much work it is to maintain hair like this. What else do we have here? Hard-haired nigga. Put some straightening product in your hair. That will make it better. Okay. Nigga being short for negative, but in some way, depending on who's saying that, people might take it as an insult. Again, in some ways, it's comparable to other words that we use in English. It just depends on who the term nega is coming from. Okay. What else we hear? Again, do you wash your hair? Is what this guy remembers. Let's see, do we have any more? Such an exotic beauty that you have, such different hair. Can I touch it? So those are just some of the comments from that campaign. I want to see if there's another article here. Is that people here? This is another article from 2017. Black university students denounce racist comments about their hair. Let's take a look at a couple of more comments. It says your hair draws too much attention for this job vacancy. Okay, people have been rejected for job applications because of what their hair looks like. Que cabelo é esse? What kind of hair is that? Somebody says. Okay, let's keep it going. Just a couple of more so you can get an idea. Ask your son to cut that. He's even a handsome guy, but that hair is ridiculous. I mean, I'm just saying, these are things that people will actually say to somebody. Muda, rapaz. Isso não é cabelo de gente. Change it, man. That's not people's hair. Okay. And it just goes on and on. I mean, I'm not gonna just repeat all of the comments that people have heard, but in Brazilian society, kinky curly hair, what they call cabello crespo, has always been frowned upon. Like you're not supposed to walk around with your hair like that, right? Crespo, then you have this crespo meaning kinky curly. So then you have this scouring pad product called Crespinha. So Brazilians have long associated kinky curly hair with this steel wire scouring pad people use to clean the sink. You know, we have them in the United States as well. Another popular brand is called Bombril. Bombril is another one of those steel wire scouring pads that you use to clean things. Now, what's intriguing about this ad from Bombril is that this guy's wearing blackface right here. Go figure. I've got numerous videos or articles on the blog that talk about Brazilians using blackface. It's pretty common there. 1950s ads of Crespinha and the recent re-release of the same product. Okay. You know, scouring pad that you use to clean your pots and pans. So they associate that with natural black hair. Okay. Then we have Tony Tornado, the singer and the actor, somebody I've talked about in a few videos and a few posts. And during Brazil's military dictatorship, it was common for police to snatch black men off the streets and shave their heads. Can you imagine? Let me see if I can get to somebody's recollection about this. Okay, so during these black dances, this is from probably in Rio de Janeiro of 1970s when they were having these black dances in Rio, and any Sao Paulo, Rio, Belo Horizonte, all of these cities would have these black dances where people were associating the music with their identity. It was one of the first times that black Brazilians were starting to feel proud about what they look like. So a lot of people talk about being snatched off the street or being, coming out you leaving a club or something and police interrogating you. You know, they'll round people up. It was like, okay. And then, boy, I had hair that was like that. It was a big afro, and the dudes cut our hair. They left people bald. Can you imagine you coming out of a club, you get interrogated by the police, they take you in, next thing you know, they shaved your head. Okay. Let me see what else. This habit of shaving the heads of blacks to add extra humiliation to the imprisonment goes back to the ravages of slavery in Brazil, when the sadistic chief of police of court, Coelho Bastos, was nicknamed Rapacoco, because of shaving the heads of blacks who were captured for fleeing to the quilombos or pro-abolitionists who were considered troublemakers. So again, the quilombos are the maroon societies that former slaves would escape to mount their own communities. We had them in the United States. Again, they were called maroon societies. In Brazil, they're called quilombos. So just think about this for a minute. I always have to ask, in some ways, it seems to me in some ways that Brazil is even more racist than the United States. You just snatch people off the streets and then they shave their heads. So this is why this is a big deal, that so many black Brazilians are wearing their hair in this natural, the way it naturally grows, because it's taken a lot of courage to come to that point. I did this video a couple of weeks ago where this dancer on this popular variety show was asked by the host if she was wearing a wig. I thought I saw some lice in your hair. She was humiliated. The guy had one of his stage assistants actually come by and pull this girl's hair to say that it was real. She recently quit. I have to do a video about that because she was put in a really sticky situation, because if she spoke out against the host who she worked for, she probably would have got fired. She was humiliated, so she just ended up quitting. So I'll probably have to cover that in a future video. And then again, here it is. She has kinky hair, so she must have lice. How Brazil has always viewed black hair as dirty. So this is why I felt the need to go ahead and cover this video for today, because this is something that happens in Brazil every day. You have naturally cabello crespo, and people associated to something bad, lack of hygiene, dirty. You must have lice. There were these two Brazilian black women students who there was some event over in Harvard specializing on Brazil, and they heard three white Brazilian women making jokes about their hair. They had braids in their hair, and they would talk about, oh, they got braids. They must have, I bet you there's lice in their hair. So this is something that you always hear in Brazil when it has to do with black people's hair. So that's why I wanted to cover this video today. I'm curious to know what you thought. Drop a comment in the comment section. Like this video, share this video. It's the only way the video, will, YouTube's algorithms will pick up on it. Subscribe to this channel if you've seen more than a few videos that you liked. Click on the notification bell so that you know when I put up a new video. With that said, I'm going to end this video here and request that you all come back. Check out the next video that I post.